I want to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine was charged, and she was found guilty of 5 of the 6 charges that she was being charged with. Just want to bring some light to that for you. A jury in a New York federal court has found Ghislaine Maxwell guilty on 5 of 6 counts related to her role in Jeffrey Epstein's acts. She now faces up to 65 years in prison. Showed no reaction when the verdicts were read. So I wanted to talk about it for a while. Prosecutors argued that Maxwell and Epstein conspired through the case, and so it was very exciting to see she did. It was very exciting to see that she did receive the guilty verdict. Receiving the guilty verdict is one thing. A lot of I was on Clubhouse talking about the Ghislaine Maxwell trial with the Objective Assholes Club, and that's run by Dr. Zuckerberg. There were quite a few things that was going on in the trial. The prosecutor rested the case really early, and so a lot of people have the consensus state, yes, she was going to be charged guilty, and that it's just a token charge of guilty, and that she's going to start talking about what she knows and what she has, and that is going to be something that is to be seen. Someone was talking about a proffer agreement, something that you can take advantage of when you are charged, when you're found guilty before sentencing, and that is to like bring any information that might affect sentencing so that you can perhaps possibly receive a lesser sentence or something like that. I personally, as I've stated, I think that a lot of the people that have been ousted for a lot of these allegations that are similar to Jeffrey Epstein, since he was initially arrested, are a result of hold on. So I think that a lot of the people that have been ousted since Epstein was first arrested is a lot to do with why we have so much going on. There's that, especially since he passed away, and Ghislaine was arrested, and it's just been person after person after person after person, especially in the news media and the people that are appearing in front of us. So it's kind of like weird, and it's very like weird. It's giving weird a lot, and it's giving like way much more than it should be. That's being accused from my viewers that do not know. Her father was a media baron and a rich person from when she came, and she left from where she was at and came over here, and somehow, some way, she got connected with Jeffrey Epstein. But the word on the street is that Jeffrey Epstein knew her father and did business with her father, and that's how she met him. And I read and I watched a documentary that talked about like her friend saying that she went away after her father had committed a big S. Like they said, he committed a big S, and they couldn't find him no more, and he disappeared on a ship. Child, hold on. Hold on. Child, let's talk about it for a little bit. So this is from theguardian.com. I'm gonna show you Ghislaine with her father and her mother. I can't really. It's my.
Take it off the charger.
I know, but it's charging. It's dead.
Take it off momentarily.
I don't know. That's her. That's her dad and her mama. So that's her when she was young. She was pretty. She's a pretty, pretty lady. I don't know what the hell happened. So according to theguardian.com, August 2019, August 22nd, 2019, specifically. Um, at one time, everyone knew where to find Ghislaine Maxwell. The former aide-de-camp of the disgraced, now deceased billionaire Jeffrey Epstein was a fixture in Manhattan's most fashionable salons, with an impressive list of contacts including Prince Andrew and Chelsea Clinton. She was a regular at fundraisers, book launch, and newspaper, The Daily Mirror. So I'm a theorist. I believe he threw himself off. But Ken Lennox, then the Mirror's senior photographer who saw the publisher's naked corpse shortly after it was pulled from the sea, was convinced it was an accident. He used to get up at night and pee over the stern of the ship. Everybody knew this. And he weighed about 22 stone. The railings were wire, so I think he lost his balance because he was very top heavy. He was Teflon man. I don't think he took himself out. Right? So, his demise shocked the country. Shock turned to anger within weeks when a $460 million hole was discovered in the pension funds of his companies. A borrower of unimaginable scale, he had illegally raided the funds to prop up his empire, which was on the brink of collapse. Headlines such as "The Man Who Saved the Mirror" were swiftly replaced by "Maxwell the Robber." Lennox found himself at the heart of this drama when he was dispatched to help Maxwell's widow, Betty, as she flew by private jet to the Canary Islands. On takeoff, her husband was still missing. Mid-flight, Lennox recalls he was summoned by the cockpit by the co-pilot. The body had been found in the Atlantic by a fisherman. The Spanish were unsure it was Maxwell. Would Lennox agree to look first to spare his widow unnecessary distress in case it was not her husband? They landed at an air base, and Lennox was ushered into a room, and there was Maxwell completely naked, lying on top of the Air Sea Rescue officer's mess table with a sheet underneath him. And I know it sounds crazy, but he looked good. His hair still slicked back, his complexion, he looked as if he was still alive. Apart from a graze to his left shoulder, his body was unmarked, Lennox says. He signed an affidavit, and that it was indeed the publisher. Then they asked me to come over and stand by Maxwell. There he was, laid out horizontally in front of me, so I held up the affidavit, and they took a picture of a photograph of me with Robert underneath. So somewhere in the Spanish archive, there's a photograph of me with Maxwell's corpse. All right, so the rumors started immediately. An inquest that later recorded death by heart attack and accidental drowning, although 3 pathologists disagreed on the exact cause, has failed to quell them. People were phoning me up with all the conspiracy theories. Do you think Maxwell was knocked off? Did you see any puncture marks behind his ears? But he was unmarked apart from that graze on his shoulder, says Lennox. Betty, completely controlled, would later formally identify her husband. Shortly afterwards, Ghislaine flew in. She was really, really upset. You could tell this was Daddy's girl. She was inconsolable. She could hardly speak. When she saw her mother, her knees just buckled. She was really devastated. He would take her to events, Elton John's birthday, football matches. She was always there, clinging on to him. She called him my daddy all the time. The fallout from Maxwell's demise left his family's reputation in tatters. It also landed 2 of his sons, Ian and Kevin, in the dock, where they successfully defended themselves in 1996 against fraud charges arising from their roles in his companies. No, sir. Kevin became Britain's biggest bankrupt, to the tune of more than $400 million in the wake of the pension scandal. His then-wife, Pandora, mother to their 7 children, claimed a colorful cameo on the day of Kevin's arrest. On hearing an early morning knock at the door and presuming it to be journalists, she flung open a bedroom window and yelled, "Piss off or I'll call the police." "We are the police," came the reply. That was priceless, says Lennox, who was among the journalists tipped off to witness the arrest. The trial of Robert Maxwell, or the trials of Robert Maxwell, and he had he come back and faced the music, would have been a piece of amazing theater, way up there with Bernie Madoff. The Rise and Fall of, says Greenslade, the author of Maxwell, The Rise and Fall of Robert Maxwell and His Empire. Ian and Kevin, like all the Maxwell children, were regularly bullied by a father who thought nothing of humiliating them in public, although Ghislaine apparently didn't get it quite as bad. I felt this was a proxy trial for Maxwell, says Greenslade, who attended every day of the brothers' 8-month trial and was pleased when they were acquitted. Alright, so for Oxford-educated Ghislaine, the youngest of his 9 children, Maxwell's money had provided status and a ticket to the elite. She was dispatched to New York initially as a meter and greeter to pave her father's way when he brought the Daily News. After his death, she made it her home. She soon became part of Epstein's inner circle and remained there for more than a decade. The two were reportedly briefly at ICE and they remained close. She's said to have facilitated Epstein's social contacts, flying with him on his private jet, and organizing dinners for influential people at his homes. One acquaintance described her as half ex-girlfriend, half employee, half best friend, and fixer. Epstein described her in the 2003 Vanity Fair profile as his best friend. Right. So, alright. After he pleaded guilty in 2008 to soliciting prostitution and served 13 months, it appears she moved on. Although she remained on New York's social circuit, she founded the nonprofit Terramar Project for the Conservation of Oceans in 2012, but is shut down abruptly in 2019. It is not clear how she supports herself. She has never been accused of wrongdoing by the authorities. The allegations are that she helped procure girls for the financier have been denied repeatedly. She was born Jean-Louis Hock in the Czechoslovakian mountain village of Satinsky Dorly, now part of Ukraine and known as Solotivno. The father, Maxwell, was born Jean-Louis Hock. He escaped Nazi occupation by fleeing to France as a teenager, but lost his parents, 4 siblings, and most of his extended family in the Holocaust. He joined the Czechoslovakian army in exile. He was evacuated to Britain and joined the British Army under the name Ivan du Maurier, apparently after a cigarette brand. He fought in Normandy, met his wife, a student at the Sorbonne, and won the Military Cross for heroism on the Dutch-German border. The decoration was pinned to his chest by Field Marshal Montgomery. Throughout his life, he was a good friend to Israel, invested heavily in publishing, pharmaceutical, and computer firms in the country. He made accusations he was an Israeli spy with furious denials and legal threats. Such a speculation was fanned again after his death when he was accorded almost a state funeral in Israel, attended by the Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir and the President Chaim Herzog, and buried in Jerusalem on the Mount of Olives. Conspiracy theorists have claimed that Mossad killed him because Israel refused him a loan and he threatened to retaliate. Lennox was on the private jet that took Betty and her husband's body to Israel. The crew struggled to load the oversized casket into the small plane, eventually having to prop it up at a 45-degree angle. In clear view of the passengers, he recalls. At one point, looking back, Betty remarked, "Ken, what do you think? Is Robert standing on his head or his feet back there?" And I said, "Well, Betty, he always landed on his feet." And she just roared with laughter. All right, so that's it for him, the father. So that's just a little background information of where she's coming from. There was talks of the father being with Mossad, she being with Mossad, he being with Mossad. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the Mossad information and the spying and all of that, so I'm not going to go deep into that. That's like real deep conspiracy theory, and that's for another day and another time and another platform. So that's it for Ghislaine. So knowing and understanding that the consensus is that where Ghislaine came from, like as far as her father and the type of lifestyle that he had made her accustomed to, had a lot to do with why and how she ended up, procuring for Jeffrey Epstein, because she was used to a certain lifestyle and he gave it to her, because it was like she didn't work but she lived, and then she like made a lifestyle out of being with rich men and being like I don't know what for them also. All right, so that's it for Ghislaine. I wanted to talk about the fact that hashtag sealed. Hashtag sealed was trending around Wednesday or so, because on the day that Ghislaine was found guilty, hashtag sealed was trending because the case file has been sealed by the judge in the case, so that all the information about who he was with, what they did, and what they found out, and the evidence and all of that goes away. And all of that has been sealed, so nobody will know, exactly what's going on with Dave. Let me figure this out. Because I heard somebody say that they're saying they're going to unseal it. Okay, so according to Bloomberg.com, fact-checking online misinformation of Ghislaine Maxwell. Yes, child. The trafficking trial of Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, ended with a guilty verdict, but that hasn't stopped the flow of false news that has swirled around the case. On Thursday, Post emerged falsely claiming that trial documents were sealed to protect Epstein, who died in 2019 while awaiting trial for his crimes and his influential friends. At the same time, previously debunker claims re-emerged on social media, including assertions that there was no media coverage of the high-profile trial. Maxwell was found guilty on 5 of 6 counts at the conclusion of the trial, where she was month-long trial. That's it. where she was accused of helping Epstein sexually exploit teenage girls. Here are some of the claims that spread online and the facts you need to know about them. Claim. The judge in the Maxwell case ordered details of Epstein network sealed after the jury found Maxwell guilty. The facts. Posts online are claiming that U.S. District Judge Allison J. Nathan ordered details of Epstein's network sealed and that prosecutors made a deal to protect Maxwell's contacts, but that doesn't track with what actually happened. Details of Epstein's network came out at trial in numerous ways through multiple witnesses and exhibits, including flight logs and bank records, and almost nothing was sealed. Last June, Nathan even ruled that two 2016 depositions from a civil case involving Maxwell could be used in her criminal trial, and troves of additional materials detailing what went on at homes where Maxwell and Epstein resided have been unsealed in the last 2 years after federal appeals judges and a Manhattan judge agreed that once sealed records in a civil case against Maxwell should be released publicly. Almost every exhibit in the Maxwell trial was released publicly, including pictures of Epstein and Maxwell together. However, the judge did find at the outset of the trial that only certain pages from Maxwell address book identifying victims with the word massage next to them could be marked into evidence. Okay. Claim. The judge issued a media-wide gag order over the trial with no live stream to keep scandalous details from leaking out to the public. Members of the media were allowed to watch Maxwell's trial, but federal courts do not allow cameras like some state courts do, and the discrepancy fueled confusion and conspiracy theories on social media. Ahead of the trial, news that the case would not be live streamed began circulating. Some compared it to the fully televised Kyle Rittenhouse trial, which took place in state court. At one point, posts falsely claimed the judge placed a media gag order on the case and banned the press from attending. But reporters and members of the public were able to watch the trial live, both in the courtroom as well as in overflow rooms where it was streamed for those who didn't get a seat. Reporters for the Associated Press were among those who attended the trial, and journalists could be seen waiting in line to enter the courthouse. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York confirmed in a statement that the press would be allowed to attend the trial and that there would be no live feeds except those within the courthouse. Claim. Documents unsealed before the trial began showed a list of defendants, including some celebrities who were named as co-conspirators in the case. The facts. The list of purported defendants was not part of the criminal case against Maxwell. It came from a lawsuit filed in August 2020 that was separate from the criminal trial and dismissed as frivolous in less than a month. Social media users circulated the list of names and companies as Maxwell prepared to face trial. The dismissed civil case named nearly 40 defendants, including Epstein, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye West, Disney, and Universal Music Group. Maxwell was included as the 31st name on the list. The lead plaintiff alleged that over the course of 30 years, the defendants conspired to unlawfully surveil, drug, and abduct them for intimacy assault, trafficking, and other exploitative abuse, and conspired to transact a purchase agreement to buy the plaintiffs from their mother. U.S. District Judge Stanton for the Southern District of New York dismissed the lawsuit on the grounds that it did not have a legal or factual basis and that the plaintiff, who did not appear to be an attorney, made claims on behalf of others according to the dismissal order. Claim. The CEOs of Twitter, Walmart, and CNBC all resigned on the first day of the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. The facts. Twitter CEO did step down on that Monday, but in his November 29 announcement, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey said he would remain on the board until his term expires in 2022. CNBC does not have a CEO and its chair did not resign, nor did the CEO of Walmart, although the company said its chief financial officer would be stepping down but not leaving the company until 2023. AP press writers Beatrice Dupont and Larry Newmeister in New York, Sophia Tulp in Atlanta, and Angelo Fitzgerald in Philadelphia contributed to this report. All right, so that is the information that I wanted to bring on Ghislaine so that we can understand what's going on with her. There's a lot of information surrounding it. There's a lot of disinformation. There's a lot of fact checking. There's a lot of this and there's a lot of that. If the case has not been ordered sealed, that means the case is open and people will go and find it and it should be there. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And hardly be good news for the UK royal. He faces a civil lawsuit filed by Virginia Giuffre, in which she alleges she was trafficked by Epstein and forced to have sex with him, his friends, including the prince, and that the prince knew she was underage, 17, in the U.S., and Prince strongly denies the allegation. Oral arguments in that case are set for January 4th, where attorneys for the 61-year-old prince are expected to argue for the lawsuit's dismissal. If his lawyers are unsuccessful or the case is not settled, the royal could face a trial date between September and December 2022. The long-running allegations facing Andrew have already dramatically tarnished his public standing, and he stepped back from royal duties in late 2019. U.S. judges have also ruled that a confidential 2009 settlement agreement between Epstein and Guthrie, which may have also referenced Prince Andrew, should be released publicly next week. Maxwell chose not to testify in her own trial, saying there was no need since the prosecution had not proven its case beyond a reasonable doubt. As a result, she was not cross-examined about her friendship with Andrew. However, Maxwell could now seek to cooperate with the authorities, as I was saying, by giving them any potentially incriminating information she may have about others in a bid to reduce her sentence. She's looking at like about 65 years, they said. Legal experts said. Maxwell now may have more to say on the whole subject following her conviction. If she has incriminating information and evidence regarding Prince Andrew or in any other person who participated in unlawful conduct in association with Jeffrey Epstein, then I think the prince and any others may well have a lot of fear from a sentence bargaining process. On the other hand, if Prince Andrew had done nothing wrong, he should have nothing to fear from sentence bargaining by Maxwell. What's that? Professor Felicity Gary, a UK barrister and international legal expert, told CNN that appeal testimony from Maxwell was unlikely, as this would probably involve an examination of the trial evidence. But Jerry said Andrew might have cause for concern if there's sentence bargaining in Maxwell's case. Sentence bargaining can occur if she decides to give or has given information. This could implicate many people, including Prince Andrew. She certainly has nothing to lose now that she's facing a significant sentence. Prince Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell are seen at Royal Ascot in the UK on June 22nd, 2000. Let me show you a picture. Okay, see her face in the prince. Yep. This one wipe off. Defendants have the most leverage to cooperate before they're charged, and that's how they work out favorable plea bargains. She'll definitely have much less leverage now. I suspect she'll want to do whatever she can to reduce her sentence, and cooperation is the only option now. Of course, it all depends on what information she has. The government would, of course, be interested if she had any incriminating information on Andrew, but there's no reason to assume that she does, and Andrew has denied any improper conduct. Now that she's been convicted, she's a less valuable witness for the prosecution because she can more easily be discredited as someone trying to reduce her sentence. Guthrie was not called as either a prosecution or defense witness in Maxwell's trial, but her name was mentioned numerous times in court. So that's it for Ghislaine. That's it for Prince Andrew. I wanted to put his part in because he definitely did file a lawsuit to have Virginia Guthrie's case thrown out and to have it dismissed. So that is what their reference is. Referencing. And the lawyers for Virginia Guthrie are looking for proof that he is unable to sweat, because he went on BBC and gave a good explanation as why that wasn't him, because he don't have no sweat glands. So 1 minute. All right, so that's it. There's more information, but it's more salacious, and I don't want to talk about that right now. So I will go ahead and move on from there. Okay, so we're not going to talk about so I wanted to talk about the also trending in the news is the fact that NASA has hired 24 religious leaders to prepare for, well, NASA has hired religious leaders. Let me see how much of them did. I think it's 24 or 26. 1 minute. I wanted to talk about that. And that's in the having we're not going to talk about. Um, so I wanted to talk about the also trending in the news is the fact that NASA has hired 24 religious leaders to prepare for. Well, NASA has hired religious leaders. Let me see how much of them did. I think it's 24 or 20 feet. 1 minute. I wanted to talk about that. And that's in the having to do with the space age situation we got going on. So according to New York Post on December 27, NASA hopes theologians at the Center for Theological Inquiry, CTI, in Princeton, New Jersey, can answer in a recent effort to understand how humans will react to news that intelligent life exists on other planets. University of Cambridge religious scholar Reverend Dr. Andrew Davison, who also holds a doctorate in biochemistry from Oxford, is one of the 24 theologians enlisted to help with the project, the UK Times reported last week. In a recent statement on the University of Cambridge's Faculty of Divinity blog, Davison says his research so far, oh God, I didn't get it, says his research so far has already seen just how frequently theology and astrobiology has been a topic in popular writing during the previous 150 years. So Davison's upcoming book, Astrobiology and Christian Doctrine, due out in 2022, according to the Times, will cover part of CTI and NASA's joint spiritual exploration, in which his most significant question is how theologians would respond to the notion of there having been many incarnations of Christ in the universe, he added in the blog post. This is the latest dispatch to come in a partnership between the U.S. Space Agency and the Religious Institute. In 2014, NASA awarded CTI a $1.1 million grant to study worshippers' interest in and openness to scientific inquiry called the Societal Implications of Astrobiology Study. Studies have shown links between religiosity and belief in extraterrestrial intelligence. Research published in 2017 found that people with a strong desire to find meaning but a low adherence to a particular religion are more likely to believe aliens exist, indicating that faith in either theory may come from the same human impulse. Alright, so detection of alien life may come in a decade or only in future centuries or perhaps never at all, but if or where it does, it will be useful to have thought through the implications in advance. Alright, so I wanted to bring that to you as a part of my space news, because you know I like to keep my hands in everything, my ears, my eyes, my hands, because the Bible tells you that the eyes of the Lord go to and fro the earth, trying to see everyone and to hear the voice of him who is crying out and them that believe. So what I like to do is bring you all types of news so that we can be aware of what's going on out there. We're aware that they're saying that they're going to the moon and back. We're aware that they're saying that they're shutting down every day, going somewhere else every time. Michael Strahan just went out with, I believe, Jeff Bezos in the chamber and came back to space, they said, and came back. So it's a lot of people going out to space, they say, and are coming back. I was talking about this on Clubhouse in was it Bullet Scotty's room? I believe we were speaking it in Bullet Scotty's room and maybe in Objective Assholes. However, the conversation was that we talked about the fact, and we spoke about this in Ion's room as well, because these are the topics on the conversation that people are having that are trying to wake up and trying to understand what's going on. You know, it's not everybody wants to know everything that's going on. There are some people that do not want to know, and I just want to reference the movie Don't Look Up right here, so that I let you know and understand that that's part of the reason why the situation isn't what it is and everyone is distracted, because we really don't want to see or hear or know nothing about these things. However, it is my job and my duty to tell you everything that is going on as a blogger, and I bring the news. So I bring coffee, tea, or labrish. I bring coffee, tea, and labrish. My decoration, then my fall apart. Nothing wrong. It's still cute. It's still cute. I hope everything that dropped down. Anyway, so at the end of the day, what's going on is that the situation is with the space situation. Oh, this is where I want to bring in the Elon Musk. So I told you that we were going to do some research on Elon Musk, right? So I told you I was going to bring some information on Elon Musk, right? So I did a little researching and a little looking into his beliefs, his thoughts, his ideas, because I hadn't gone that far as yet. And you know, they do some research on Elon Musk, right? So I told you I was going to bring some information on Elon Musk, right? So I did a little researching and a little looking into his beliefs, his thoughts, his ideas, because I hadn't gone that far as yet. And you know, they maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months ago I did a piece on Elon Musk and Grimes breaking up, and somebody came in my comments and was telling me that she possibly is Elon Musk's first baby mother, the first wife, and the baby's not Grimes' baby. And it was a lot of like situation. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if she was telling me the baby's a clone. I don't know what she's saying to me. So she sounded a little, it was a lot. So it piqued my interest, and I don't know if that's what she was trying to do, because you know I love stuff like that. I want to know what she's talking about. So I'm going a little bit deeper. I've been on the Elon Musk fan page and gossip page, and you know, people that love Elon Musk, and started watching YouTubes about Elon Musk so we could do a little bit of research, because I did tell y'all that I was going to bring this to you, and I have to, because this is a part of what I need to cover as a part of my assignment. So in all actuality, in fact, I want to tell you about Elon Musk, a little bit about his ideas. So I thought that Elon Musk was for the whole space and the whole jab, and not just that, but like, you know, the robotics and the AI and all of that. My research has shown me that's not the case. So this is the problem now. So we have Elon Musk and we have Mark Zuckerberg. So what I watched a little story about them, and it's saying Elon Musk doesn't like Zuckerberg and Zuckerberg don't like Elon Musk. Anyway, they're friends. They've been to each other's house or whatever. They had dinner, tea, I don't know, crumpets. But in addition to that, they still have their little anti each other situation going on. You guys turn off the black eyed peas? I'm making black eyed peas. Yeah, I'm cooking right now as we speak. I have my stuff in the oven. Yes, I'm making my black eyed peas and my sweet potato yams, and I ain't got no greens, so I'm making a little spinach with my dinner, and I make a baked macaroni and cheese, and we make a pot roast, a pork shoulder, because my kids love it, and so do I, kind of like. So that's what we're doing for the New Year's whatchamacallit. So anyway, so the other day, about 2 years ago, a Facebook satellite was supposed to be carried on a SpaceX launch, and for some reason it blew up. It was going to Africa, to put the satellite in Africa, where Elon Musk is from. Y'all know how I like to like. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is an entrepreneur and business magnate. He's the founder, CEO, according to Wikipedia. He's the founder, CEO, and chief engineer at SpaceX, early stage investor, CEO and product architect of Tesla Inc., founder of the Boring Company, and co-founder of Neuralink and OpenAI. With an estimated net worth of around US $280 billion as of December 2021, he is the wealthiest person in the world. Yay! Where's our sound machine? Where's our sound machine? We need a sound bar for Elon Musk. Come on, come on. Yeah. I don't be using it. I don't know why. Uh, you know it makes me laugh. Wait, so. Um. Okay. So. So, Elon Musk is the wealthiest person in the world. Musk was born to a Canadian mother and South African father and raised in Pretoria, South Africa. Boom. He briefly attended the University of Pretoria before moving to Canada at age 17 to avoid conscription. Conscription? Conscription? Sometimes called the draft in the United States, is the mandatory enlistment of people in the national service, most often a military service. It dates back to antiquity and it continues in some countries to the present day under various names. So he was apparently trying to escape conscription. He was enrolled at Queen's University in Canada and transferred to the University of Pennsylvania 2 years later, where he received a bachelor's degree in economics and physics, then moved to California in 1995 to attend Stanford University, but decided instead to pursue a business career, co-founding the web software company Zip2 with his brother Kimball. The startup was acquired by Compaq for $307 million in 1999. The same year, he co-founded online bank X.com, which merged with Confinity in 2000 to form PayPal. The company was bought by eBay in 2002 for $1.5 billion. In 2002, Musk founded SpaceX, an aerospace manufacturer and space transport service company, which he's CEO and CTO. In 2004, he joined electric vehicle manufacturer Tesla Motors, Inc., now Tesla Inc., as chairman and product architect, becoming its CEO in 2008. In 2006, he helped create Solar City, a solar energy services company that was later acquired by Tesla and became Tesla Energy. In 2015, he co-founded OpenAI, a non-profit research company that promotes friendly artificial intelligence. In 2016, he co-founded Neuralink, a neurotechnology company focused on developing brain-computer interfaces, and founded the Boring Company, a tunnel construction company. Musk has proposed a Hyperloop, a high-speed VAT train transportation system. A VAT train is a proposed design for high-speed rail transportation. It is a maglev, a magnetic levitation line using partly evacuated tubes or tunnels. And that's something that I found out about him the other day. He did an interview most recently. I do not remember the interviewer, but however, it's Elon Musk News or something like Elon Rewind. And he said that there's something big coming, and we're in a big trouble because the deficit is so great, and that the deficit is more than all of the rich people in the world. Like, you could zero out all the rich people and still owe the deficit in these trillions of dollars that the country is facing right now. And that what he would suggest for Biden and the administration is to bring create roads underground, and also he said underground and using tunnels, and also above double deck, like a double deck road, something of that nature is what he was saying. And it was very interesting. Also, in addition to that, he does not believe in the AI that is currently a part of the metaverse, and he has tweeted and stated that people should delete the metaverse, and it should not be trusted, and all of these things and stuff. So him and Zuckerberg have an ongoing like online feud thing. But then when Zuckerberg tweeted something, he tweeted and said, we discussed it, and he knows how I feel, and we know how each other feel, and all of this. So it's a little bit of mutual banter, mutual rivalry going on between those two, and that's what we're seeing playing out. So Elon Musk is for going to Mars. Like, he's trying to take, I don't know about us, but he's trying to take people to Mars and build a society on Mars. That is his intention. And also in creating SpaceX, it is to transport people to Mars, and ultimately he's trying to work with, he's working with the government, with NASA to transport there's a launch that's supposed to be done. Wants to start launching NASA's crews into um, space, and that's what that's, I guess that's a contract that he has, or that they work with SpaceX and NASA working together to do that. Okay, so listen to these. All right. So that's it. That's a part of what's going on right now in the space news, guys. I want us to look out for what's going on. I'm really concerned because there's a lot of things going on, according to like New York, with the current state of the health field industry and everybody being sick, and also in addition to that, new strains of the thing coming out, and everybody's watching New York to see what's going to happen. 1 minute. According to Inverse.com, SpaceX plans at least 36 launches in 2022. That's not even including Starlink, the frequently launched satellites constellation for exploring internet services. Elon Musk stated on Twitter in October 2020 that his goal for 2021 was 48 missions, something it looks like it could actually achieve in 2022. SpaceX is expected to host a series of Starlink launches on a regular basis from both Florida and California. Musk explained earlier in November that by mid-2020, the next phase of Starlink launches should enable better maritime communications. It's a lot of missions. So there's a classified mission, all types of missions. So yeah, there's a big schedule for SpaceX for 2022. So it's a big space. We're entering the space in age right now. So that's where we are. We're there. We're in it, and the consensus is that we're traveling and that we're going to be out there in space. And so also there's like a little space war going on with Elon Musk and China, where Elon Musk has according to CNN Business, Elon Musk SpaceX satellites catch heat in China over close calls with space station. No, 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 no. The tech billionaire SpaceX satellites are catching heat in the country after Beijing complained that 2 satellites launched by the American aerospace manufacturer endangered Chinese astronauts. In a report sent earlier this month to the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, China claimed that 2 SpaceX satellites flew too closely to the country's space station this year, forcing the station to make evasive maneuvers to avoid collision. 2 space satellites flew too close to the country's space station, forcing the station to make evasive maneuvers to avoid collision. The 2 encounters constituted dangers to the life or health of astronauts aboard the China space station, according to the report, which said the incident happened in July and October. China filed its complaint to the UN early this month, but the episode didn't gain widespread attention in the country until this week. Chinese state media scrutinized the incidents, which involved satellites that are part of SpaceX Starlink's constellation, a project that promises to beam high-speed internet across the entire planet. The Global Times, a state-run tabloid, cited an expert Monday who speculated that SpaceX may have been trying to test China's capability and response awareness in space. No, sir. Allegedly. This is CNNBusiness.com. The topic also attracted some 90 million views on Weibo, a Twitter-like social media service in China. One person decried the network as a rogue project and a kind of monopoly in the space race. Users criticize the U.S. Starlink satellites. Another accused the United States of provoking trouble. Oh no, that's not good. Asked about the incident on Tuesday, a spokesperson for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs called on the United States to take immediate measures to prevent such incidents from happening again. It is a typical double standard for the U.S. to proclaim the concept of responsible conduct in outer space while ignoring its obligations under international treaties on outer space and posing a grave threat to the lives and safety of astronauts, Zhao Lijian told reporters. SpaceX did not respond to a request from CNN Business for comment about the document that China filed with the UN, nor to questions about whether the company was able to communicate with Chinese authorities during the incidents. The UN's Office for Outer Space Affairs did not immediately respond to a request from CNN Business for comment. In its report, China asked UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to remind countries of the organization's treaty governing outer space activity. The U.S. military's Vandenberg Space Force Base, which monitors space traffic and attempts to track potential collisions, did not respond to a request for comment under the UNOSA report. So that's what's going on. So hold on. That's it for now. So Elon Musk and Tesla are having a little bit of problem because the factories are based over there, and at the same time they started doing their own space travel, and it's a space race with everybody, like every government and all of this is trying to get to space, trying to make communication, trying to make contact all at once. So everybody have the same intention, and everybody want to get there first. Everybody want to do the same thing, colonize Mars or whatever it is they're trying to do. So everybody have the same idea. If you subscribe to the alien idea and the space idea, or you subscribe that we're even traveling in space, it's up to you. So I just bring that information for you, and that's it for Elon Musk, the space agenda, Mark Zuckerberg, SpaceX, and China. I wanted to talk about it's up to you. So I just bring that information for you, and that's it for Elon Musk, the space agenda, Mark Zuckerberg, SpaceX, and China. I wanted to talk about ABC former producer Michael Korn. Back in October, Michael Korn was seeking dismissal of a sexual assault lawsuit. ABC and the former top producer of its Good Morning America have asked that according to Variety.com, have asked that a sexual assault lawsuit filed against both of them be dismissed, citing New York State statute of limitations and harassment claims, and alleging the plaintiff in some parts has made charges that are inapplicable. A lawsuit filed in August in the Supreme Court of the state of New York by ABC News producer Kirsten Crawford raised troubling allegations that Michael Korn, a longtime senior producer at ABC News who supervised GMA until he left in April, had intimately assaulted her and another female staffer, Jill McClain, in separate incidents. The suit also claimed that ABC knew about allegations against Korn or should have, and did little to reprimand or punish him. When Ms. Crawford first came forward in February 2021 with allegations against Michael Korn, they were immediately investigated independently of ABC News by corporate legal and HR. Following a thorough investigation, Mr. Korn's employment with ABC News ended. Ms. Crawford then proceeded to file a lawsuit against ABC. The Disney-owned network said in a statement. So they're filing to dismiss the lawsuit. Milton Williams, an attorney who has been representing Crawford in the matter, said the filings were expected. Neither ABC's or Korn's arguments are a surprise and were completely anticipated. It is also worth noting that it seems that ABC and Korn are not on the same page with respect to their view of the allegations in the amended complaint, he said. So, ABC News has been roiled by the allegations, which spurred staffers to lob questions about how they were being handled by the unit's parents, Walt Disney. Crawford's suit alleges that ABC News anchor George Stephanopoulos heard about some of the claims against Corn by Crawford in 2017 and disclosed them to executives and urged Crawford to reach out to an ABC attorney to discuss further. But Crawford, fearing that making a formal complaint would do more harm than good or even result in losing her job, did not follow up. According to the suit, Kim Godwin, who became president of ABC News earlier this year, suggested during a staff conference that the matter should be probed by an independent investigator, a statement that was not embraced by senior Disney executives. The Wall Street Journal reported in September that Disney would likely not pursue an independent look into how ABC News handled allegations made against Corn. Corn was in May named president of News for News Nation, and news operation launched recently by Nexstar Media Group, which runs programming on a cable network once known as WGN America. Crawford's suit also contained allegations by a former ABC News staffer, Jill McClain, who was not a plaintiff but alleged that Corn groped her against her will during a 2010 plane flight from Los Angeles to New York and assaulted her while traveling in London in 2011. Corn's motion calls McCain's allegations false, scandalous, and prejudicial. In sum, the claims against Mr. Corn should be dismissed as a matter of law, the filing said. In the alternative, this court should strike the scandalous and unnecessary allegations included solely to arrest and unduly prejudice Mr. Corn in the public eye. So that's one more allegation for a news media person that came about after the start of, well, actually no, since the start of Ghislaine's legal issues that went back to, I believe, 2019. All right, so that's it. I wanted to discuss the Michael Corn issue for you and let you know exactly what's going on with that. That's it for Michael Corn. I also wanted to talk about, so hashtag Michael Corn was trending on Twitter. So, on Twitter there was a thread, and it was trending on December 27th. So that's why I wanted to bring it to you just this week. Sources following Michael Corn's departure from ABC, Disney wanted a strict NDA so sexual allegations about Corn and Disney's handling wouldn't surface. Disney violated its own policies allegedly regarding the allegations of sexual assault by ABC News producer Michael Corn. When brought forward, Disney failed to investigate charges in 2017. That's how they deal with that type of abuse in the Mouse House. These are some of the comments that are on Twitter right now. All right. Someone wants to know, how will the board of directors at News Nation respond to the allegation story? And they want to know who is on the board of directors. All right, so that's something that's trending. If you know Michael Corn, let me just go ahead and show you Michael. That's Michael Corn. Okay. All right. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was I wanted to actually so hashtag Alec Baldwin was trending this past week. People are definitely calling for him to be arrested. I don't know what's going on, but it is definitely, yeah, it's definitely giving, lock him up as soon as possible, out there on the Twitterverse. And so I don't know exactly what's going to go with him because they said that the police are still, the interview that he did. According to CNNentertainment.com, a search warrant has been issued for his phone in connection with the shooting. Hold on. Okay, a search warrant has been issued for his cell phone in connection with the fatal shooting, according to court documents released Thursday from Santa Fe County, New Mexico. A judge on Thursday signed the warrant, which states that Baldwin, along with his attorney, were asked to turn over the phone, and the detective was told to acquire a warrant. Officials are looking to obtain messages, call logs, digital photos and videos, as well as any private messages sent on social media platforms in relation to the production of Ross, the warrant said. It also looks to obtain any deleted videos, photos, and messages on the phone that have to do with the movie. Hutchins had met her fatal demise October 21st during a rehearsal for a scene in a church at Bonanza Creek Range. Director Joel Sousa was also injured in the shooting. The scene was going to show Baldwin cocking the gun, and he and Hutchins were going over how she wanted to position his hand right before the gun went off. The actor told ABC's George Stephanopoulos this month. And I caught the gun. I go, can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see that? And she said, and then I let go of the hammer of the gun, and the gun goes off. I let go of the hammer of the gun goes off. Baldwin recalled. Baldwin was aiming the gun just off to the side of the camera as Hutchins was instructing him in her direction. He said, I'm holding the gun, but where she told me to hold it, which ended up being aimed right below her armpit, was what I was told. Baldwin said. When asked why he pointed the gun at Hutchins and pulled the trigger when that wasn't in the script, Baldwin said, I would never point a gun at anyone and then pull the trigger. Never. So what happened? Baldwin's civil attorney responded Thursday night. We are confident that evidence will show that Mr. Baldwin is not responsible civilly or criminally for what occurred on October 21st, and he continues to cooperate with authorities. As reported by ABC News, Aaron Dyer said in a statement, we proactively requested that the authorities obtain a warrant so that we could take steps to protect Mr. Baldwin's family and personal information that is clearly unrelated to the investigation. A phone contains a person's entire life, and personal information needs to be protected. While they evaluate the phone information, we hope that the authorities continue to focus on how the live rounds got on the set in the first place, Dyer added. CNN continues to reach out to Dyer. Alright, so in addition to that, the armorer says she loaded the gun with 6 dummy rounds. She said we had a gun the whole time before lunch. She said they loaded the gun with 5 dummy rounds before lunch. She said there was 1 round that wouldn't go in, so after lunch she took the cleaner, cleaned it out, and put another round in, which means there were 6 dummy rounds in the gun. She said we had the gun the whole time before that and nothing happened, and I wasn't in there, and they weren't even supposed to turn the light on. They weren't even supposed to be pulling the hammer bay. Gutierrez said, according to the warrant. After the shooting, she checked the gun cartridge, and the first one she pulled out didn't have date, referring to the projectile end of a bullet. She told investigators she checked the other rounds, and they were all dummies. The warrant said the box of dummies may have had some wonky rounds. She said 2 members have told CNN that Gutierrez mishandled weapons in a previous film project. Oh no. Stu Bumbrell, the key grip on always said Gutierrez handled guns on the set of that project in a reckless manner, and that he urged the film's assistant director to fire her. Brumbaugh cited an incident in which she fired a gun near the film star Nicolas Cage without warning. She's the daughter of longtime Hollywood armorer Saleeby. Okay, so that's it for that information on Alec Baldwin. Hashtag Alec Baldwin. The next thing that I wanted to talk about that was also trending was hashtag Twitter. Hashtag expose CNN. Expose CNN. Oh, on December 29th, the Babylon Bee tweeted, after conviction for the intimacy crimes, Ghislaine Maxwell announces new job at CNN. Is this a joke? I'm not sure. A few minutes after her conviction, she had announced she has landed a brand new job at CNN. We call Maxwell as soon as the verdict was read, said CNN President Jeff Zuckerberg. Ghislaine has shown us she has exactly what it takes to work here. This has nothing to do with the fact that she's really good at committing sex crimes. We're hiring her for her many other qualifications. Yeah, qualifications. Maxwell will replace Wolf Blitzer as an anchor in the Situation Room and will also be placed in charge of the hiring of all new female interns. Oh no. This is what the Babylon Bee is saying. So when they tweeted that, there was a hashtag expose CNN. Expose CNN for not showing America the one video Donald Trump hopes you will never see about Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. There were so many different things, and they're saying that CNN reality is not the same reality as everyone else. In addition to that, what came up was Rick Saleeby. Rick Saleeby has resigned, y'all. Rick Saleeby. CNN. And this is ProjectVeritas.com. Rick Saleeby, producer for Jake Tapper, has resigned. The update came from CNN's Matt Dornick, head of strategic communications at the network, following Project Veritas' December 15th report of alleged text messages and FaceTime calls of Saleeby's sexual fantasies and solicitation of photos of underage girls. As previously reported, Fairfax County Police have taken some of Saleeby's property as part of an investigation being conducted by detectives assigned to the Child Exploitation Squad of the Major Crimes Bureau. When confronted by a reporter from Project Veritas early in the week outside of his court appearance, Saleeby refused to answer questions about his official status with CNN. The official status is that he has resigned. Okay. They're just saying that CNN has washed up news and that they're not telling the truth and that their version of reality is different from everybody else's. That's basically what's going on. So, it's quite a number of people in the news. On NBCnews.com, second former CNN producer on the police investigation. The police in Fairfax, Virginia said their child exploitation squad is investing in allegations against a former CNN producer involving juvenile victims. Rick is being investigated. They're going to be transparent about the findings, safeguarding the personal privacy and safety of victims and witnesses as well, maintaining integrity of our criminal investigation are paramount importance. They did not say what led to their investigation. It is unclear whether Saleeby has been charged. Saleeby did not immediately respond to a phone call Thursday. The records were not available online, and the courthouse was closed Thursday ahead of the New Year's Eve holiday. CNN confirmed that Saleeby was no longer employed by the network, saying in a statement that he resigned more than 2 weeks ago. A federal grand jury indicted another former CNN producer, John Griffin, and I brought you the tea a couple days ago, this month on charges of enticing minors to engage in unlawful sexual activity at his property in Vermont. Griffin was charged with 3 counts of using a facility of interstate commerce to lure minors and people claiming to be their parents to train them to be sexually subservient. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Vermont, Griffin pleaded not guilty to all 3 charges last week. Further in the news, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, and his ex-wife Maria Shriver are finally divorced after, I don't know, it's been 10 years since they've been going through this divorce. They got married in 1986 and they didn't have no prenup. She started divorce because they had a maid and the kids were growing up and the kids were getting older, and she looked around and the maid's son looked like Arnold, and then she started questioning the maid, and the maid told her that Arnold was a father, and so she, they did DNA and all this stuff. According to thecut.com, they are officially divorced. More than a decade after their initial separation, they have officially finalized their divorce. On Tuesday, they too reached a settlement which finally ended their 35-year marriage. Shriver first filed for divorce in 2011 after Schwarzenegger admitted to fathering a child with a member of their household staff. The child was born about a week after his fourth child with Shriver. Christopher was born in addition to the affair he had with a staff member, which occurred around 1997. He also admitted to having an affair with his Red Sonja co-star Bridget Nielsen in 1985. In the years since, Schwarzenegger has been publicly apologetic for his affairs, particularly the one with his household staff member. In one interview with Good Morning America following the initial news of his affair, he said, keeping the son he fathered a secret was the worst thing he's ever done. Not just the worst secret, the worst thing. At the time, he said he hoped to reunite with Shriver with their joint separation statement reading, "We're living apart while we work on the future of our relationship. We're continuing to parent our 4 children together." They specified it was a decision they reached together. Shriver filed for divorce a couple months after the statement was released. It's unclear why the divorce took so long to finalize, and details of their settlement have not been made public. As reported by NBC News, neither will owe the other any spousal support. However, both reserve the right to seek spousal support through the court in the future should they want to. Yeah, so in addition to that, I believe it was because of the prenup. They've been married since 1986. They didn't have a prenup, and they had to have this whole time. One of the news outlets that I read, don't quote me now, said they had to split their assets down the middle because they didn't have a prenup. So this was what they've been having a disagreement about the financial part of it, and that's why it took so long. All right, so that's trending for Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver. The next thing I wanted to talk about, you know what? I wanted to talk about the lady. I'm not gonna go there today though. Just to let you know, I wanted to bring some information about Chris Cuomo's wife. Child. So Chris Cuomo's wife, in case you did not know, according to filmdaily.com, here she's beautiful, Cristina Greeven Cuomo. Here she is, child, with her husband. Yeah, that's Cristina. All right, so what happened is, child, I don't know what I was reading. You know, I've been reading. I've been catching the tea. I've been up and down and everywhere. The question is, did Chris Cuomo's wife help Jeffrey Epstein become filthy rich? Controversial conservative website The Daily Wire recently published a piece regarding a recovered 1997 black book from Jeffrey Epstein, in which its contents were recently published by Insider earlier this week. In the book, one name that rings familiar is Cristina Greeven Cuomo, the wife of CNN anchor Chris Cuomo, who's also the younger brother of ex-New York governor, ex-CNN anchor Chris Cuomo, who's also the younger brother of ex-New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. The two got married in 2001, Cristina and Chris. Business Insider reported the following. Jeffrey Epstein's newly discovered 1997 address book, published by Insider on Tuesday, connects dozens of new names to Epstein and traces previously known relationships back to the 1990s. One of the new names belongs to Cristina Greeven Cuomo, a New York editor and entrepreneur. What could be the connection here? Let's delve into the backstory of these political figures to really understand the obscurity of it all. It talks about Cuomo. I'm not talking about Cuomo because I just talked about him this week. Jeffrey Epstein, I just talked about him. The book lists Greeven Cuomo under a minor misspelling of her birth name, Cristina Greeven. Her entry refers to a Manhattan File, a New York Society magazine she published after her father purchased it in 1994, Insider adds. They continued, the same entry includes an office address in the New York City neighborhood of Soho, an office phone number, and a home phone number. In the 90s, Greeven Cuomo was known for hanging out with socialites like Alex von Furstenberg and the former CNN producer Pamela Gross. The latter appears in both of the Black books and is now a close friend of Melania Trump. It's currently unclear as to why Greeven Cuomo's name appears in the filter rich Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book, as she's currently the editor-in-chief of the wellness website The Purist since 2017. In fact, The Purist was contacted for a comment by Greeven Cuomo by Insider, which was almost immediately replied by Chris Cuomo, who stood up for his wife and communicated how they have no comment on the matter. Everybody's tea is just coming out. So then they found out that she was in Epstein's book, and this was back in July 14, 2021 on newsdaily.com, right? Filmdaily.com. So when they found that out, not too long after that is when these allegations came out against Chris Cuomo, and all these other CNN people, and everybody's business coming out, and everything's being revealed, and who's connected, and where the connection is, and all this stuff, and we're seeing it with our eyes, but I guess people are not paying attention, but I'm here to give it to you. Okay, so that's they. Now, Chris Brown and his situation. Word on the street is they, according to hiphopvibe.com, Chris Brown has been accused of sliding in 14-year-old girls' DMs. Twitter goes in on him, child. Was trending on Twitter. While Chris Brown is no stranger to controversy, he has worked so hard to change his image. 2015, he stayed out of trouble since 2015. 2019, he ended his long-time feud with Drake, making a classic song together. He became a target for people once he had an incident with Rihanna, allegedly. Once his temper was exposed, and people in the media began pinning everything negative on him. Through all of that, he kept his head high and kept making good music. He's helped other artists gain credibility, and now he's being accused of sliding in a 14-year-old girl's DM. The girl is a TikTok star, and she claims Brown asked her if she was in LA. Now, the fans on Twitter are beginning to go in on Chris Brown, making accusations about him. Child. Chris Brown, oh my God. Chris Brown. Just put it right there for me. Right here. You put in the yams? You didn't put the yams in? I need the yams. And more black eyed peas than that, child. And gravy on my rice. Please. And a little bit more rice. Thank you. Happy New Year, y'all. What time is it, baby?
I don't like you.
I love you too. I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you.
It's 11:40.
All right, so hold on. Okay, so the young lady is really popular on TikTok, and she's 14 or 15 years old. She was the first to DM him. Right, so a lot of disturbing things are going on the TikToker's page. She has a video of herself allegedly rubbing her body in a crop top with her boobies out. She's the one who DM'd him first. She doesn't look like 14 years old, is a consensus. And according to News Nation USA, you went viral after a 15-year-old girl explained she did it on her TikTok, so she made a video. She explained how the singer slid into her DMs. The girl is a popular TikTok star, suggested that she was freaked out by Chris Brown's message. Media Takeout has posted this as well. A lot of the news blogs. She even called Chris Brown R. Kelly. She exposed him on TikTok. I'm trying to find the video. So you wanted to know if she could come, if she lived in California. It's not a lot that's being told out there. But the information can be found. It is trending on Twitter. I don't know. Trey Songz is being outed right now. Chris Brown is being outed right now. Trey Songz is being outed for so many sexual allegations coming back to back. Like, so a lot of people are talking about that. Both of them are trending right now for men in the media, men in the news, men in entertainment. And they have been outed for these type of stuff, like trying to go with underage people and, you know, all this stuff. The only way I'm only seeing that on hiphopvibe.com and another site, the News Nation, but I'm not really seeing any full information on it. Hold on. Her name is Ayan Tanjali. She's the one who hit him up is actually what it is. So that's why the controversy is so controversial, because I'm not exactly understanding, but apparently she did let him know that she's a young girl or something, and he didn't care. Allegedly, they're saying he is always recruiting on IG. She looks very young, but looks, you know, she's well made up to look older. And people are saying that he's been trying to date younger people, allegedly. That's Chris Brown. So but it's a lot been said about him through the years, especially after the situation with Rihanna. So I'm not exactly certain why this little young girl would want to be going in the man DMs unless she was trying to start a problem. Maybe she just wants to be known and seen. I'm not exactly certain, but if Cafeteria Elaboration. If you like what you hear, if you like what you see, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I drop a video or when I go live. It's giving me like, but at the end of the day, he's innocent until proven guilty, and I don't see like any charges being filed or anything like that. So it's very difficult to pick it up and say, okay, we're gonna run with it. So it is a lot going on in the news, in the media, all of these people being outed, all of this information coming out, black, white, you name it. It's a lot of allegations out there, and it's a lot of these things going on in the society of Hollywood, entertainment, sports, and the news. All right. So CNN also closed its offices to non-essential workers on December 19. Just to let you know, rest in peace, Betty White. She passed away today. She had breathed her last breath. Maybe 17 days on her birthday was supposed to come out a special Betty White 100 years young. She passed away right before that. You know she's gonna be worth a lot of money on that day when that thing dropped. So yeah, we're looking for the money to come from that. In another news, Travis Scott was also dropped by Christian Dior. They had a line coming out which he was gonna be featured in for 2022, where he even alternated their logo, like altered their logo and everything. They said they're going to postpone it. They're postponing the collaboration that was slated for the fashion show for 2022. According to page6.com, Dior indefinitely postpones Travis Scott Cactus Jack collaboration. He's still feeling the repercussions of Astroworld. He was set to release a collaboration between his Cactus Jack creative house and French fashion brand Dior in summer 2022, but the collection has been indefinitely postponed in the wake of his Deadly Music Festival. According to Dior, out of respect for everyone affected by the tragic events at Astroworld, Dior has decided to postpone indefinitely the launch of products from the Cactus Jack collaboration originally intended to be included in its summer 2022 collection. The company said in a statement to WWD on Tuesday. Scott's partnership with creative director Kim Jones was first announced in June 2021, and pieces and followed by a fashion show in Paris that exhibited pieces with tributes to late rapper Pop Smoke, highly coveted sneakers, and more, marking Dior's first time ever working with a musician. The capsule collection was slated to be sold 1 year after its unveiling. Cactus Jack previously teamed up with brands such as Nike and McDonald's, but many have distanced themselves from the sicko mode rapper since the crowd crush at his November 5th festival resulted in the 10 demises of concert festival goers. Since then, Astroworld has been hit with more than 140 lawsuits and a mass litigation suit by 1,500 show attendees against Scott, Live Nation, Apple Music, Drake, and others. Scott's W magazine cover with pregnant girlfriend Kylie Jenner has also been pulled, and Nike has similarly delayed releasing new shoe styles designed by the artist. The Grammy nominee claimed in an interview with Charlamagne the God on the Breakfast Club earlier this month that he didn't hear the screams of the fans and 1,000% did everything he could to avoid the tragedy. He added that he intends to figure out exactly what went wrong and said, I'm going to fix this for the future people. I'm going to fix this problem and find a solution to make sure this doesn't happen in the future and definitely be a #1 voice for this. So yeah, there's still fallout from Travis Scott Astroworld disaster, and I don't think that's going to stop. Whatever is like, he is done. Like, I don't think nothing else going to go on for him. I don't know how he could come back from this because everybody is slowly distancing them. Just slowly I back away from him. Slowly I walk away and I gone about them business and now look back. So that's it for Travis Scott. I also wanted to talk about it right now. That's really it. That's all I have for the New Year's, guys. So I deliberately definitely think that we should be on the lookout for some type of big thing, big disaster, big lockdown, big shut up down, something to occur very soon based upon the climate and the atmosphere and what is going on right now. It's a lot of things going on. It's a lot of things going on all at once. And so I wanted to bring it to you because I just don't want us to be watching that show with Don't Look Up and seeing how everybody's been like, distracted by things that don't make no sense. It just pains me and hurts me because I'm just like, what's gonna happen? A lot of people are so concerned about the things that they are being told to be concerned about, namely like your biggest artist telling you what to do, when to do, and how to do it. So that's all it is, and it's a lot of that going on. So with all of that, I definitely do not appreciate how everything is going and the distraction agenda and how everybody's so distracted right now. So just to let you know, I do definitely have to give you what is trending so that you can know. Also, Dylan Gonzalez a musician, came out last night on Twitter and said that Trey Songz is a sexual assaulter. She said he is a R word. Lord forgive me, I couldn't hold that in another year. See you in 2022. The people are saying that he's been accused of the R word at least 3 times during this pandemic, and that plus years of previous allegations should be enough to get him and his off-key yodeling ass out of here. And the people are wanting to cancel Trey Songz because they're saying that at this point, enough is enough. How many accusations? He got reality stars, Keke Palmer, white pop singer, everything, every type of body, every type of person saying that he assaults people. Yes, Keke Palmer had came out a couple years ago because he had her in some video, like had her in his video, and she came out and she was like, "Why am I in this video, Trey? After you found me in the closet hiding because I refused to do it and I didn't want to be involved. After you said it to me, just because you give somebody alcohol and use a little sexual intimidation don't mean you could get them to do what you want to do. At the end of the day, she's a businesswoman. Anything that she appears in, she has to have a contract. Like, that's her job and her duty. You don't, like, you bypass that." And she was alluding to sexual assault and all types of stuff as well. So he has been known to do some type of stuff, or this stuff has been coming out about him, and it's a whole can of worms about to open up on Trey Songz, literally. Keke Palmer, BB Rex said many other victims have talked about his abusive ways allegedly. All right. I hope it's not another R. Kelly situation, but this woman, Dylan Gonzalez, I don't know if she's going to speak some more or whatever, but it's a little bit scary because when Keke Palmer did that video, she was a little bit, like, emotional about it, all right? Everybody is wondering what is going to happen with this situation. How long is he going to be able to go ahead and be assaulting people in this manner? And she said, Keke Palmer, she talked to Larry King about it, and she answered why she felt it was sexual intimidation that occurred at the time. So a lot of this is coming up in this because it is too much. People want to kill the narrative. Tammy Roman responded. She said, y'all have to kill the narrative. He doesn't need to do that surrounding sexual assault. No one needs to do that is the point. Y'all assume attractive and or rich men are above that, which allows them to continue to do it. No consequences. So this is what's trending right now, going into 2022, because Dylan Gonzalez done rocked the internet with this accusation. Happy New Year, guys. It's happening right now. We are now moving into the 2022. Stack your water, stack your this, stack your that, and get ready. Prepare for space travel. Prepare for glowing in the dark. Prepare for alien visitation. Is so many different things appearing. Prepare for way more names to be coming up, way more allegations, and the world just looking like it's falling to shit, but hopefully it's falling together. Let's see how we can get together and do something about this, because at least we need to be in the know. There has to be people that know what's going on. We can't be dumb about the reality and the shows and the movies and stick there. We have to talk about the current events as well, the news events and the things that are popping right now around us that we don't know about. Distraction agenda is something that I am not for. So I'm definitely going to be giving y'all the tea, the coffee, the lavarish as much as I can, as often as I can. All right. So that's it for that information. That's it for my trending right now. God, I'm happy to see all of this has occurred. Can you give me some more meat and I'm done with my show?
Okay.
The meat. But yeah, because I'm almost done eating stuff anyway. All right, so I am done with this, y'all. I want to thank y'all for speaking with me today. I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to be speaking with you. I'm excited to have your energy. I'm going to do another video because I have to do the Real Housewives of the Ultimate Girls Trip, finishing up that review of what that is about. And I also want to do Real Housewives of Miami because I started watching that back. I had watched it already, season 1. I watched it years ago, but T with Dre and the girls over on Twitter, in Twitter Spaces, them gave me an assignment. I have to watch. I want to talk about what was trending with Insecure. All right. Issa Rae announced the end of Insecure, and it has hurt a lot of women. It has hurt a lot of people. What's his name? Mike Hill was out there on Twitter space, in Twitterland, saying that he wants to get an Insecure for black men, and the girls were not feeling it. Okay.